All right. So my question is, I'm interested in like the objectivity.
Jared, if you wanted to just quick.
Okay. So, okay, well, maybe we could use this. There's several ways I could get at my question. I'm looking at like, painting 101, the objectivity of beauty in painting. I once had a prof at NSA, Cole Titino, who's this brilliant cellist, had him play two pieces, one by Bach, one by Saint-Saëns. And I said, I want you to play each piece in front of the whole student body, and then I want you to tell us which one God likes more and why. Okay? So I'm basically getting the same thing with painting with you. Now, we could either do this by looking at one of your illustrations in this book, and I want you to tell me why it's good, or you could do it with this painting. You've mentioned two phrases, both of which I need context for. I think you said poetic colors. I'm like, excellent. All right, but that's good to know. Have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
And you said phenomenal brushwork, which I'm like, all right, great. Like,
As opposed to
yeah, we're in the art gallery, you and me, and you're like,
this is what guys are thinking.
you're like,
no,
dude,
it needs to be. It needs
phenomenal brushwork, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
really, it's really impressive stuff.
Yeah.
So choose your poison, your book or this painting, and tell us define those two terms, and then tell us what are the objective standards by which it excels others.
What do you want to get after? The Sorolla painting?
Yeah, let's talk about the Sorolla painting. But so first, poetic color. So this is
Dang. Could be.
it's a big can of
could be a whole
worms.
episode.
I know. Maybe we should. So poetic. So like naturalistic color. You just go out, take a photo. The sky is blue. The clouds are white. The grass is green. Okay.
Crayons.
Or crayons, which is fine. That's good stuff. Ghibli does this kind of color. Poetic color is your. This is such a big. So you have.
I'm telling you, it could have been.
you're making it better than God. Like, what are you talking about?
No, it's you're taking what God did and crafting it into a poem so that when you give it to, because look, God gets the sun and the physical world and smells and touch and taste, and we have to take like colored dirt and scrub it on a canvas and try and represent the experience we had out there or the experience we had watching the people drag in the fish. And so you have to, all color is ultimately a poetic take on what it was that you saw. So
Are you meaning that as in like not a 1-for-1 take? It's a
you're taking the elements, you're keying the painting off one particular color, and then like, okay, that's my yellow. Now to harmonize that, I have to grab these other blues and greens and like mix them so that the wavelengths that are bouncing off them harmonize. Because color is similar to sound. It's wavelengths, but instead of hitting your ear, it's hitting your eye. Something that is green is bouncing off. It's absorbing all color except for that particular green, and that's the wavelength that's hitting your eye. So that wavelength, if you grab this particular green with a wavelength of, I don't know how this
that
a
works.
certain amount,
That much.
this wavelength,
Okay.
and then you grab a yellow that has a wavelength that just clashes with it. It doesn't harmonize. The yellow is sharp and the green is flat. It's not gonna look good. So but let's say that's like, maybe that's how it looked to you when you went out there. It's like you had this really sharp yellow and this really flat green. Poetic color is making these choices just more consciously. So you can end up with a sky that's like gray, and then clouds that are purple, and then grass that is pushed really blue. But if it's all harmonizing, you step back and like the people are like, wow, that's such a sunny, bright day. In fact, your values are really crushed. So you're not using your brightest brights and your darkest darks.
But you've lined up those crushed values in such a way as it looks like a bright, like
right, because
hit your
the
brain.
colors are actually like, the wavelengths are actually humming. They're hitting your eye. It's like a Beach Boys melody for your eyeballs.
Can
so
you
like
key off
for this,
yeah.
like this is the bottom of the clouds here are this green, right? As the clouds roll, as the form turns.
Forrest, make sure you're on the camera.
Oh, so like as the form turns, you're going from the shadow side to the light side. But if I grayscaled this, like if I just took all the color out of it, bled it out, this value up here and this value down here would be almost identical. So it'd be almost the same level of gray. You introduce color and you get the idea that it to your eye, it looks like this form is turning because you have this warm color, this cool color. And those two colors are dialed so that they harmonize, if that makes sense.
So it's orange and blue.
Yeah. But a certain
But you-
orange and a certain blue, I've taken the values
Which is brightness.
Yeah, brightness. So value is how dark or light it is.
Okay.
So color is like temperature, how cool or warm you pick your, is it? You take the values, put them all in the middle, and then harmonize those, and you get this like poetic. That's what I call like poetic color. It's like it's not screaming rock and roll. It's not like loud. The volume is not turned up, but your chords are really I don't know, close, but they harmonize. Yeah, it's
You're not taking just white, the whitest white, setting it next to the orangest orange.
Yeah, it'd be like that cloud I saw was so glorious and beautiful. I just want to make it as bright as I can. So you're just gonna go white, but like you're bleeding out all the color. So you have to drop the value down like 5 notches.
The way that God does it at like 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's
then,
not the same value as it is at noon.
right, but you can and then tailor your other colors so that this thing is now like a symphony. High contrast images think of them more as like primitive cavemen. Low contrast images with harmonizing color, think of that as like, a sophisticated orchestra. Everything's really finely tuned. Every part's been thought out, and it's harmonizing. The black and white is like, rock and roll screamo, volume turned way up, really obvious, unsophisticated. And both can be used for, it just depends on what you're trying to do.
So that was poetic colors. What was your other question?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
double click. High contrast would be black and white.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's less poetic. So, it's, yeah.
Okay. Poetic colors. It involves multiple colors and the harmonization of those colors.
Yeah, and it's like a poetic take on the landscape. You're not just painting what you saw. You're taking what you saw and elevating it through the use of harmonizing colors.